Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In this video, I would like to show you how I will do the features for this main casing of this main frother. If you see at the back here, we have a features where we have an opening lid. As shown in this photo, if you look in this photo, we have if you look, we have a partition line. There is an opening lid at the back here of this main casing of this main frother. The idea of this opening lid is that we can slide it out here this direction, so we can easily fit into AAA batteries without opening the top casing and also the bottom casings. So when you do product design for this kind like a plastic component, a casing like this, so we have to think about how easy the user will fit in the batteries without opening the everything of your product. Alright, so these are pictures I want to show you. Okay, maybe in my previous video I've already shown you how I do shelling and splitting this main casing into top and bottom casing, and also maybe in my previous video I have already shown you how I do the features of lip and groove. But before I do that, I reverse the process. So I just until where I have this main casing. So I will do, before I do splitting of this main casing into top and bottom casing, so I will do first these features, the opening lid. Alright, so there's another image I show you. So this is a 3D render image I've already done. So this is at the back here of this main casing. We have an opening lid here, so this is another view, so we can easily slide it out and we can fit into AAA batteries. Alright, if you look in this here of this main casing, we have a switches here where I can call it it kind of like have a stopper there, or maybe I can call it a groove. So the idea of that stopper of this main casing here is that when we slide in the opening lid here, so it will be stopped by this shoulder or the groove here. So the opening lid can be pushed inside this main casing. Alright, so this is another view. So zoom in view, so we have kind of like a shoulder here. So in this video I will show you how I will do this in SolidWorks. Okay, this is another view without the opening lid. So how do we create these features? Okay, and okay, this is another view from this view angle. So for this opening lid, so we will have kind of like a inverse of this. Since this one we have a shoulder, so on this one we have kind of like a protruding shape of this, since it will slide in onto this groove of this main casing. Right, so this is the opening lid itself. So we have kind of like a protruding features here, kind of like a key. It will slide in into the into the groove of that main casing. Alright, so I will show you how I will do this in SolidWorks. Alright, to do this in SolidWorks, the first thing what I need to do, I need to shell this main casing into 1.5 thickness. Right, normally for plastic casing the thickness is about 1.5, so I only select this face, so we have a shell there. It means if I go for section view, if you look, we have a thickness of 1.5 millimeter. Alright, to do the features of this, if you look here, let me undo this. Okay, since at the back here, so what I mean is here at the back here we have a flat plane. I will create a sketch. If you look in this photo, so that flat plane here, I will create kind of like the outline of this opening lid. So here we have a circle, and I will create then a rectangle here. Make sure that rectangle is a little bit bigger than the width at the end here. So then I will trim this part. So I have the shape, so I will do kind of like a cutout. Okay, to do that, let me show you. Since here, okay, let me show you at this here. At the back here I have a flat plane, so I will create a sketch there. I will go to the normal view. Right, so this is my sketch plane on that surface. So I will start by a center line. Okay, center line, as long as it's aligned with this origin point, since the origin point is at the center there, somewhere here, and I put it extend further like this, right? All right, here the end of the center line, I will make sure it set the relation to coincidence. So it will start at this edge, kind of like middle point, the quadrant of, we call it kind of like ellipse here. All right, so here I give some dimension. I think it should be about 32, as long as it's longer than the width of this main casing. All right, so this is my center line. Okay, then I will draw a circle at this line and it will snap at that point. So I will give the dimension of 12. Right, so I will draw then a line at the quadrant here, make sure it is horizontal, and just I extend it at any length as long as it's longer than the center line. And also it kind of, this must be vertical, kind of like tracking is snap at this quadrant. If you see here, we already have the relation tangent, so it's good enough. Also here tangent. So here, make sure I want this line to be aligned with this point. So here I select this line and this dot, I set it to coincident, right? So we have a full define. So now I can do trim. I will trim this part and also this part. So I have a shaded area. So this one, okay, this region is good enough for me to do boss extrude. Alright, to do boss extrude, please take note on this. This is very important. Okay, now when I go to features, then I do boss extrude. Okay, what I'm trying to explain to you later, I will do intersection to create the opening lid. Okay, here I have already made this cross section here to be boss extrude. Okay, the direction my boss extrude is not toward this direction, so I will go for reverse direction. Okay, the amount of my thickness of my boss extrude, I make it some amount, for example, like about 5 millimeter. 5 millimeter thickness, as long as the thickness of this boss extrude is over the thickness of this main casing shell, which is 1.5 millimeter. Because later I will show you how I will do intersect to make that opening lid. Alright, so okay, one thing this is important. Okay, when I do boss extrude, please do not click at merge result. You don't click at merge result. I uncheck it to make it as a separate body. So I click OK. Okay, now if you look here in the features manager, I have shell 1, which is the main casing, and the boss extrude is the one that I just do it just now to make this shape. Alright, so this I make it as a separate body. Alright, if you look at this photo, okay, in this viewing direction at the back here, I have another outline here for me to do another partition. Alright, so this kind of like a rectangular shape. So now I will do, I use the same approach here. So since I have this flat plane from my boss extrude, so I will do at this plane, I will create a sketch. So here I will create a corner rectangle and it snap at that endpoint. I just put somewhere around here. So now I will set the relation of this edge and this edge to collinear. So then I will give some amount distance, as long I can have about the length of this partition here as shown here. So I will give some amount, for example, like 12. Alright, okay, now I will do the same thing. I will go for features, extrude. My direction is, okay, before that, let me cancel this thing first. Before I do boss extrude, let me exit this cache. I need to set to section view for top section view. Just need to show you, okay, this is a section view of the main casing. Okay, for this, I will do boss extrude, then I will select this cache. Alright, the direction is not this direction for I go toward to the main casing. Okay, I must have the thickness is kind of like, if you look here, since we have the thickness of this shell of this main casing is 1.5, I will put some amount like much greater than 5. Let's say I go for 10 millimeter, or maybe 8 is good enough for me. Right? 8. So another thing important is that I uncheck the merge result. So I want to make it as a separate body. If I click OK, so I now I have a separate body of this extrude, boss extrude. Okay, now I will join these two boss extrude that I've just made to become S1. To join it, I will go for insert features and I will do combine. Then I go for add. I select the first boss extrude and the second boss extrude and make sure it's add, and I click OK. So now we have kind of like a L shape here. Alright, the idea of this is that, okay, I have now two solid body, which the cell, the main casing, and the combined is this L shape. Okay, this L body. This L body here, if another new command for you to learn is about intersect. Intersect means from here, from this L-shaped object and this main casing, whatever the intersection region of it, then it will produce the shape of the opening lid. Alright, so that's the idea of it. Let me exit this section view. Okay, before I do intersect, so I need to clone these two solid bodies. Okay, the first I need to clone this one because later I will show you why I clone it. Okay, this main body I will clone it. To clone it is I go to insert features, I will do move copy. Okay, sometimes your setting on the left here is not like this, so sometimes you are under constraint. If your setting is like this, make sure you click translate rotate so you have this setting. Okay, bodies to move copy, I will select this one. And also this L shape also I will do clone. So I want both of them to be clone one copy only. So then I click OK. Then if you look here in the feature manager, we have 4 bodies. First is the shell main casing original one. The combined is the original L shape. The body move copy one is the clone version of our main casing, and the body copy 2 here is the clone version of this L shape. Alright. Okay, the first thing is that I want to do intersect. Intersect means, if you look here, I just take the, okay, let's say I take a clone version of my main casing and the clone version of this L shape. I isolate it. Now I have these two solid bodies. Okay, intersect means, maybe in my previous video, I've already explained you about combine, add, and subtract. Okay, another thing is not about combine. Actually, it's another features. We call it intersect. Okay, under here, the features, under insert features, we have intersect. Intersect means whatever intersection region of this L shape and this main casing, the intersection region will be the output of our object. If I click at here, main casing and this L shape, then here we have option, either we want to use create intersection region or create internal region, but most of the case I go for create both. Then I click at intersect. So now we have the output here. We have the list of region that we want. If I check the region 1, okay, if I check the region 1 and I check the region 2, so you can see kind of like the preview of the output. If I check at the region 3, so this kind of thing that I want. If I check at region 4, that will mean that you will this is the output, so we have nothing here. So if I click, so it depends on how you check it, how the output you want it to be. So if I click at region 1, region 2, and region 3, so now I have the output of this. It show the preview. So this will be the shape that I want for my opening lid. Alright, so it already done creating the intersection region. So if I click OK, so this would be my opening lead. All right. So this will be my opening lead. Hold on. Okay, let me exit isolate. All right. Okay, if you look here, the original one, my main casing here, and also combine one here, the original L shape, I will do another isolate here. Okay, for this one, I will not do the intersection. This one, I will do subtract, right? Under insert features that I go for combine, then I will do subtract. The main body is the main casing, and to subtract, okay, under here bodies to subtract is this L shape. If I click OK, now I have the opening. All right, I have the opening here. Okay, if I exit now, I have two solid bodies. Right, first is the intersect, which is the opening lead. Right, then the combined to here is the main casing. We have already subtract this L shape from this. All right, so I have now two bodies. All right, my next move, okay, let me exit isolate. Okay, now I have two bodies, which the main casing, and also I have the opening lead. All right, the idea is that if you look in this photo here, okay, I've already done the partition here, the main casing and the opening lead. If you look another view here, okay, for this main casing, if you look here, we have a features kind of like a shoulder, or I can call it a stopper. The idea of this shoulder is to prevent this when we slide in this opening lid onto this main casing, it kind of prevent this opening lid to be pushed inside. Okay, this is another view of it. I zoom in and we have this thing. I need to make this shoulder onto this main casing. Okay, this is another view. Okay, so it means that this opening lid can slide onto this shoulder. This is another view of it. So this without the opening lid, and okay, this is another view. Okay, if you look at this opening lid itself, so it means since the casing have the shoulder, so it means that opening lid they have the inverse thing. It kind of like a protruding things that are shown here. Okay, this opening lid. So these features. All right, so this I want to show you how I will do this. All right, okay, in SolidWorks here. Okay, before I do that, I need to make a clone version. Okay, let me isolate this opening lid. Okay, I make a clone version of this, insert features, I make a copy of it. So I will select this one, only one copy, then I click OK. So now I have the clone version of this opening lid. Okay, let me exit isolate. Now I have three bodies. Okay, the intersect is the original one. The body move is the clone version of my main casing. So I will isolate this clone. Okay, the idea is that if I go for this direction, okay, since to create the shoulder for that main casing, I need to kind of like half thickness of this opening lid. Then I will do trim surface. Later I will show you. So I made the half thickness of this opening lid. Then the idea is that I will do a shell inward. Okay, you just follow my video, then you will get the idea of how I am going to do this. All right. So this is a clone version. Okay, to make this thing a half thickness. Okay, here I play around. Here in your tab here, you have a surface feature because now I'm playing with surfaces, not a solid bodies. Okay, sometimes your interface here, the tab on the top here, sometimes it's like this. Your tab here, your surface is not on. If you cannot find surface here, so what you do, you just bring your mouse here and you right click at it under tab, then you go for surfaces, then the surfaces is on. So under the tab surface here, okay, under the tab surface, I can delete which surface that I don't want. Okay, my mistake. What I want to do, I don't want to delete any face. I want to do an offset surface. Okay, so there is something new for you. All right, under the surface here, I will select offset surface. Okay, here I will select surface that I want, this surface. Okay, let me go for this one. Hold on my control, this face and this face and this face. Okay, this surface I will do offset surface. Offset surface, it make an offset version of the surface based on the thickness that we gave. Okay, here I have already selected surfaces. Now I go here, we have offset surface. Offset surface, okay, if you look here, because since the value, default value is 10 too much, because since the thickness of our opening lid is 1.5, so I only go for 0.75, the half thickness of it. But if you look this preview, it goes toward inside direction. So what it will do, it will create an offset surface based on which surface that I have selected. But I don't want to go to inside direction. I will go for reverse direction. If I click that this arrow, so it will go inside. So we have a clone version of the surface, which being offsetted by a distance of 0.75, which means that it is half thickness of this 1.5. So I just click OK. So now I have the offset surface, right? Okay, another thing that I will do trimming. So I will do split, not trimming, split. So the splitting is this offset surface. So I will remove portion that I don't want. Okay, but one more thing, when I try to do split, I must make sure that these edges, I need to extend it little bit. So then only my splitting will works. Alright, so to do that, these edges, I need to extend the surface little bit, about 1 millimeter thickness. Okay, under the surface here, we have extend surface. Extend surface means you select any edges of that surface. Okay, I select these edges, then I give a thickness. Okay, default is 1. So you can go for which direction, but I go for default since the direction is toward this direction. Then I make a little bit extended version of this offset surface. Okay, the idea is that this offset surface here will be my splitting surface to split this opening lid into two portions. Okay, now I will do, okay, now other features here. Or here also, insert features, we have split. Okay, split. Okay, so let me clear this thing first. Okay, trim tools, I will select this offset surface, right? Then I will click at cut bodies. Okay, now here under the resulting bodies, I only want the portion that I want to be removed. Okay, here I will select not inside, I will select the outside portion here. So make sure that consume cut bodies is on. So the selected portion will be removed. Then I click OK. So I only have this half thickness of my opening lid. Alright, so the surface here, so since I still have a kind of a clone version of the surface that I've done offsetted surface, so I can simply, but later I will delete this surface, but for in this case, just for a while, I just select this surface, then I off it. So I now have the this opening lid, we have a half thickness of it. Okay. Okay, now what I will do, since I want to create a shoulder for or stopper for the main casing, so since now I have a half thickness of this opening lid, so what I will do, I will do shell. Okay, under the features here, we have shell. We have shell, then I only select the surface that I want to remove to make a shell. So I will select these surfaces, and also here, and also here. So I will not go for shell outward, just I remain default, it will go for shell inward. Okay, it will go for shell inward since I want to make a shoulder for the main casing. So the thickness of the shell, I go 0.75. I don't want to go for too much, because if I make the shell is so thick, it means that later if I try to fit in the AAA batteries, is not the size is too small to fit in the battery. So I just go for 0.75. 0.75, then I click OK. Now I have this thing, I have this strip. So this will become the features shoulder for the main casing. Let me exit isolate. Okay, now if you look here, we have the main casing and the shell. If I isolate it, right, if you look here, now I have these features. Now I have the shoulder, or I can call it the stopper for this main casing. Okay, all right. Another thing is that, hold on, okay, this thing, this shell here, I isolate it, I clone it again, because one is to the original one to be joined to the main casing and have the features of a shoulder or a stopper, and another clone version to be subtracted from this opening lid. So this one I will do insert features, I will do move copy, I make a clone version of this. I click OK. Okay, let me exit, isolate. Okay, now we have 4 bodies, right? We have four bodies. Okay, the first one, the main casing, intersect is this opening lid, the main casing, and the original strip that I've just made here, since it's not jointed, right? Since it's not jointed, so I need to combine it by add, right? So here under insert features, combine, then I go for add, I select the main casing and this thing. So if I click OK, now it become one body. So now the main casing have a shoulder or a stopper. I exit my isolate. Okay, now for this opening lid and the clone version that intersect, I isolate it. For this one, I will do subtract. Okay, under insert here, features, combine, subtract. Okay, the main body is this opening lid, and to subtract is this one. Sometimes it's hard to subtract since kind of like it merged inside. I can use the list here. Under solid bodies, I go for this one, right? Then I click OK. So now I have these features. So now the opening lid have kind of like the inverse of what we have from the main casing. So it was slide into, if I exit my isolate, so we have these features, right? So I can check it by doing section view. Okay, if you look in my section view, so we have these features. It's kind of like slide onto this shoulder of this main casing. So this is what I want to show you in this video. So hopefully I hope this video will help you for your SolidWorks project, for you to do features something similar like this for your main casing. Okay, inshallah I will see you in the next video, but before that, please do not forget to click like and subscribe my channel. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi.